Okay, I should be there. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Apologies for my tardiness. Oh God, I'm wobbling all over the place as well. Feels like I'm drunk. Okay, right, let's get my text set up. Let's get that one over the top so I can see myself. Oh, now I can hear myself as well. What's going on? Right, there we go. Okay, right. Let me firstly apologize for my lateness. I have a very good reason. It's not an excuse, it's a reason. I went to, I was been back for a little while because I went to Shepton yesterday. So I've been back from Shepton for a little while. I got back earlier. I've had something to eat. I've chatted to the kids. Emma's chatted to her parents in New Zealand, or her brother. I've put the fire on. I've done a few bits and pieces, played with the puppy, went to get my computer. As I got my computer, the dog had basically pooed inside. The lights were off. I hadn't noticed. I'd stepped in it whilst I went to get my rum and my computer. So then I've moved it across the floor, and I'm like, oh my God. So I've had to obviously turn the lights on, seen the mess, literally the mess. And then Emma and I have just been tidying it up. Hello, mate. I did stand in poo. I had my slippers on, thankfully, but I did stand in the dog's poo. Excuse me. Okay, language. So yes, I was in the dog's poo, so I had to tidy that up, and then get that, and then now the dog's kicking off because they're in the other room, and they want to come in and play, and I'm like, you can't play, you got to just chill out for a minute. And yeah, now I'm here, and that's why I'm late. So as they say, entrepreneur life. It's the life of a new puppy, isn't it, Jonah? Yeah. Right, you off to bed? Hey. Off to bed. Cool. Night. Right, so that's why I'm late. But I'm here now. I've got my drink. It's a big jar as well, this one. Emma's bought some jars, which are really cool. I really like. It looks like Guinness, but it's rum and Coke. What puppy have I got? I've got a Cocker Spaniel. You coming to say goodnight as well? Or are you coming to laugh at me because I stood in poo? Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Just give me 2 seconds just to say goodnight to the kids. Right, you off to bed as well?
Yeah.
Cool.
Once you finish your live, can you come say night?
Of course I will. Okay. Right, up you go. Wobbly tooth. Do you want to show people your wobbly tooth? Oh, it's disgusting. Right, night.
I hate it because it's always in my way.
Right, off you go.
Did it?
No. Right, go on. Okay, right. Beds, please, you two upstairs. Go on. As they're getting older, they're getting later to go to bed, so I might have to start doing Join Joel at 9 o'clock rather than 8 o'clock. Oh, Morris, that's disgusting. Morris, that's why I'm wearing slippers around the house, plus my house is cold. Right. Okay. No real plans this week. I want to address the Tom Cruise situation. And we've been interviewing this week for duty manager. I haven't. Lauren and Lisa interviews for the duty manager role. So I could talk a little bit about what I do now in interviews, because I think I've said to you guys before that I don't do interviews. I'm not allowed to do interviews anymore. So when they do interviews, I have a slightly different role, which I love. I absolutely love. I really enjoy it. I think it adds loads of value. I think it's exactly what the CEOs or the MDs or the top of a company should do in terms of interviews. So we talk about that. Puppy's training okay, he's getting there. So we're doing some training with him this week. My hot tub broke. One of the pumps keeps tripping the whole thing out and tripping out all the power in the kitchen and on that side the fuse board. So I know first world problems, but it's a bit of a shitter when you got a hot tub and you can't use the thing properly because it keeps breaking. I went to Shepton yesterday. I drove down. I was in Shepton all day today and did some stuff around the funding and looking at some development, did some work with Charlie and with the team there. And they're just appointing a duty manager as well, and spent some time with Ruth and some of the team. Saw Morris earlier. So various bits like that. So really, I don't mind where we start. Tiering was, what I guess sad news for the guys out in the southeast. Lots of people moving to tier 3, which I know is a restriction. I was actually really pleased with the tiering, I've got to be honest, from where we're based, because we'd planned. I know I talk about it a lot, but I'm going to put it back out there again. I'd been planning with my team around the what to do if we went to tier 3, especially down in Shepton. That was an expectation, a potential. So we made a plan for what we're going to do going to tier 3. Thankfully, that didn't happen. We actually found that Bristol went down to tier 2, which means Bristol opens up a little bit more, as does North Somerset. Really good for Shepton, because obviously we pull a lot of customers from there, and also for Herefordshire as well, going to tier 1, which is great because we pull a lot of customers from there to Shrewsbury. So really pleased with some of that. That's going to help move our business a little bit. Obviously a shame Wales, we're going into lockdown on the 28th. I say it's a shame. I don't know, because I don't know enough about the science of it, because I don't see the figures in the same way as obviously the politicians and the scientists do. That's obviously the right thing for them to do. It does mean that we won't be able to draw anybody from Wales, obviously, to the attraction over after the Christmas period, but we'll see. And obviously they're locked down for a couple of weeks afterwards. I appreciate a lot of people haven't changed either. So, but yeah, so that was kind of good news from, I guess, a business perspective. We had our grant money through this week from, or our closure money through for Somerset. So we, for the lockdown, for 4 weeks when we were closed, we got £1,336, so £1,336, which doesn't even pay the electric bill. So, but I mean, it's better than nothing. I'm not complaining. At Shrewsbury, we get nothing. We get fuck all at Shrewsbury, which is a shame, especially considering the amount of money we bring into the economy. I mean, the production we've recently had brought 150 crew and cast into the area for 10 weeks. So even if you add that up on a basic scale, as my phone, if you add that up on a basic scale of like 45 quid a night at the Premier Inn, for example, they took out pretty much every room. They've got 178 rooms at the Premier Inn. No, they've got 140, I think, rooms at the Premier Inn. But I know they took out, I think, 100 rooms, at, let's say, 45 quid a night. So it's £4,500 a night, times 5 nights they were there. So that's 22,500 a week, and they were there for, I think, about 7 weeks with the crew staying. So it's £157,500 that the production probably would have paid, give or take, in hotel fees alone. So, you know, we brought in, plus all the other stuff, all the other expenditure in the towns and stuff, we'd have brought at least £250,000 into the town, excluding what the production would have paid directly for the location hire and other fees like that. So £250,000 basically we'd brought in. So it's a shame we get little support from the council in that sense, but it is the way it is. We don't moan, we don't whinge. It might sound like a whinge, it's not. We just get on with it, and we just do our thing, and we just crack on, because it is what it is. And arguing and fighting for it doesn't really generally get us anywhere, so we just crack on. Anyway, so it was really good going down to Shepton. Really, really pleased with how Shepton's looking, with the development plans we've got in place. I haven't really announced it publicly, widely, but I haven't been keeping it a secret about getting the new lease signed off for Shepton. I'm going to do more of a public announcement in January, but we've got the lease signed off there, so that's really positive. Gives us loads of time to plan and just figure out exactly how we want to get everything done, how we're going to fund it, work with the current developers, just to get it moving really, and turn it into what I know will be one of the will be a world-renowned tourist attraction, but will also be, I want it to be the #1 prison attraction in the world. It's going to be a hard press to get it above Alcatraz, but that's the push. But I know Shepton's going to do some amazing things, and the team there are brilliant. And I'm not just saying that because Morris is on here, but they are very, very good. So, so yeah, that's kind of that piece. Tom Cruise, OMG. So did you guys see Tom Cruise kicking off COVID compliance this week? I'm kind of in two minds about it. I think he absolutely is right to do it. Don't think he did it in the most appropriate way. I think berating people, screaming and shouting at people in that sense isn't really the way to do it. Chastising them like naughty kids is not the way forward. And I say that from somebody that's done exactly that type of behavior to my team at different points. And I know the negative effect it has down the line. Probably a bit different if you're Tom Cruise, but I think the principle's still the same. He could have had the same effect and impact, but done it in a different way. So he absolutely had a point. As Diane's just said, he had absolute point and the right to do it. Not the best way to deliver it. You've got a question though: was some of that done to build PR? Like, you know, the approach, not the fact that he's done it. I think that's fine, but is some of that done to build PR? And you know, it's obviously been leaked. Has it been leaked? Has it been sold? I reckon it's been pushed to the papers. Again, it increases the name, the film. You know, it's all good PR and stuff like that. And I totally agree. I think you got, you know, Teresa, I think absolutely, you know, he's right in what he's saying. The approach isn't particularly good. And also, none of us have seen the footage. We don't know how close these people were together. We don't know if they're wearing masks. They could have been in a bubble. I know the productions that we've seen, they test everybody every couple of days, and they have bubbles inside. So just as you will have a family bubble, these guys have a work bubble. So these guys have a work bubble. And I saw this on the production that you'll have actors that bubble together. You'll have the crew, so like the director, the DOP, the first AD, so the first assistant director, the producer. So you might have 4 or 5 people in a bubble connected, and they don't connect with anybody else, and therefore they can be closer together, just like you can with your family at home or with your home bubble. And they're all tested beforehand, so you know they're all clear. They have a couple of tests, so you know all are clear, and then they bubble, and then they stay together, and that's it. So, you know, we don't know the ins and outs. All we're seeing is Tom Cruise did this, and everybody's supporting him. And like I say, there's a balance. You say they're not wearing masks, Teresa, but I haven't seen any footage to show that. All I've seen is audio. So whilst you may actually be right that they weren't wearing masks, absolutely, that's possible. But again, we don't know all the facts. We don't know if they were bubbled together or anything like that. I just think, you know, all of that, it's a case of, you know, there's a way of delivering it, and he could have got the same message across, delivered in a different way. But would it have got shared on social media to the same extent? Hell no. If Tom Cruise had just said, guys, come on, that's not the way to behave. Everybody's relying on us. People in America are watching us right now, and they're building other films based on what we do and how we perform. Come on, your behavior is not acceptable. There's people in the US losing jobs right now. They're losing money. They're losing their houses. They can't put their kids through college because coronavirus is spreading. You're not helping the situation. You need to think better. If I see you do this again, you're going to be gone. You're going to be fired. We're going to get rid of you. Do not behave like this. Please, guys, I'm asking you, I'm telling you, don't behave like this. He could have delivered it like that, had the same level of impact, but it wouldn't have gone anywhere near as scaled up on social media. Food for thought. So anyway, and I say this as somebody who's berated staff. I've been there, I've done it. I have screamed, I've shouted, I've thrown my toys out the pram. I've done all sorts like that. You only need to ask the guys and they will tell you. And I'm you know, happy to admit it. I've even at one point thrown a mug across a room, bounced off a wall. So, you know, I'm somebody that's been there and done that and kicked off at that extent. And I know it doesn't have the effect that you want. Threatening people to get fired and stuff like that doesn't have the effect. And also, they'll be unionized. So sacking them like that ain't actually all that possible, despite whether you're Tom Cruise or not. So like I said, I think there's a bit of a media piece there. There's a PR animal behind it. There will be. Anyway, Chris, fancy scaring Lauren or Stacey all day tomorrow filming? I've got work to do, Chris. I've got a job to do. Did everybody see me scaring Stacey this week? So yeah, it's sorry, just reading the comment. Did anybody see me scaring Stacey this week? I will show it very quickly for those of you that may not have seen it. It was an absolutely epic scare. Let me find it a second. That's the one. Get the volume turned up. Right, ready? That was so good. So yes, that was fun. It was just spur of the moment as well. I literally just come in. I'd been in the kitchen. I put the kettle on. I was waiting for the kettle to boil. I could hear Stacey at the top of the stairs. I could hear her chatting to somebody. I heard it was coming down. I was like, I'm in such a good place here. I'll just stick record on. So I just literally banged record on. As I clicked record, she came round the corner, and that's why I was just instantly on. I didn't even say anything. I was just there. It was amazing. Like so good. So yeah, I was really happy with that one. It was such a spur of the moment, and we do that a little bit at work, obviously, as you guys know. Right, what's the next? We've done Shepton, we've done scares, we've done Stacey, spoke about Tom Cruise. Oh, the lady with the shower. That's Josie. So Josie is one of our marketing assistants, working specifically in social media. She actually plans a lot of our social media ads and stuff like that. So yeah, she's in and out of the jail at different points. So yeah, that was one that I saw earlier this week myself. I thought, whoa. And the weird thing about the showers is the water's turned off. I turned it off after the production had finished. I turned it off with Lauren. We turned all the water off in there. So I'm not quite sure where the water's coming from, which actually gets me more concerned to a degree than the ghosts, because I don't like to just lose water. It's a waste. So we need to figure that one out, because it's not running. If you press the button, the shower's not running. So that's what's really weird about it, is why it was running the other day for Josie, but it's not running. Like if I go into the prison tomorrow and press the button, it's not going to run. So that's really weird. So I need to check that out. But yeah, so some good stuff there. I had the construction guys in. I had some of the builders in on Wednesday. First thing in the morning, I was at the prison with Lauren, and we were going around looking at some of the future developments we want to do and getting some pricing and just talking about some of the bits we need to do. New visitor centre, that's on the list. A couple of changes to A-Wing in terms of removing some of the offices and sorting out segregation a little bit. A couple of security gates. Looked at the restaurants. We're going to start working on the development of the restaurant, and a couple of other bits with new escape rooms and stuff like that. So yeah, some good stuff happening there. Do you guys want to talk about interviews? Should we talk about interviews? I can only say so much, because although I'm aware that the person that has got the job has been told they've accepted the job, which is good. I believe that the people that also interviewed that haven't got the job have all been told. God, I've just realized what I've said. I've said that the person that knows has been told. That means that if you haven't been told, you now know that you haven't been told. This is why Joel needs somebody to just gag him every now and again. I believe everybody's been informed about the interviews, so I bloody hope they have. Otherwise, this is really bad. But yeah, I was going to talk about a little bit about my role in the interview process now. So, just rum. Oh my God, Morris. I don't think so. I think the shower's right at the very bottom, so it would have been there. But we drain the system when we turn the water off. Normally, the way we know the system's off is we press the taps and we let the water drain out, so we've got empty pipes, because then it obviously prevents freezing as well. So yeah, so I don't think so, but they're old buildings. Who knows? Do you know what I mean? The way they sometimes like connect and backfeed into each other is a bit weird. Chris, my God, Chris has just said, ask my wife to gag me. The trouble is, do you know what, Chris? If she sees that, she bloody will, but not for what I don't think what you're thinking, just to shut me the fuck up. Literally, that's why she'll do it, just so she gets some peace and quiet. As you can see, I'm back. You know, last week I was proper in a bit of a depressed kind of cloud. And like I say, it happens probably maybe twice a year. I get like that, not very often. And yeah, I'm back. I'm pumping. I'm really happy, really excited, really pumped for the new year. Some really cool stuff that like I say, I'm really motivated about. I kind of feel like I'm getting back my entrepreneurial mojo a little bit, which yeah, it's got me really excited. Okay, interviews. So I know some of you will have heard this before. I say banned. That's a little bit of a joke to a degree, but I was told that I shouldn't be part of the interview process probably about 18 months ago, for a couple of reasons. But ultimately, I was told I was quite overbearing, in the sense of it not for the I mean, I was partially for the candidates, but also for the other people who were interviewing. It became very difficult to make a decision, and it just got to a point where I was getting involved in a lot of stuff and I didn't need to be involved. And both Chrissy, our ops director, our old ops director, and Emma, who was working in marketing then, both turned to me and were like, you know what, you don't need to be in interviews anymore. We don't want you in interviews anymore. We don't need you in that process, but we do think it's appropriate that you still meet with the candidates. I was like, yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely want to be meeting with the candidates, and certainly people that are going to certain positions. If they're joining the Campbell group, I like to meet them anyway. If they're joining one of the prisons, then I like to be involved in the managerial posts, because obviously I'm going to have some connection with them. I like to think I do a little bit of mentoring, a little bit of leadership. So I do like to meet people and sort of do it. So the way I do it now is I basically connect. I don't do the interviews. Someone else does the interviews. So it's always two people who do the interviews. So Lauren and Lisa did the interviews this time. Lauren obviously is the site manager. So the duty manager will work underneath Lauren. Lisa, who works in the Campbell group, she is our admin manager. So she'll do as well a lot of the systems, a lot of the financing, a lot of the process. So she will work an awful lot, quite closely with duty managers in their day-to-day roles, and more around all the systems and processes. So she'll work a lot. So those two have done the interviews together, with Lauren leading those. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. I've been in Somerset. I've been through a tier 3. I drove through Bristol. I didn't stop, but I got COVID. I'm not even sure I should joke about these things. It's bloody rum. Hold that thought. So yes, they do the interviews, and then what I like to do is meet with the candidates afterwards for a coffee. So once they finish the interview, it's all over. I then basically meet with them in the restaurant. I have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, whatever may be my pleasure at that time. And I just have a chat for 10, 15, 20 minutes, depending on what the time may be, with the individual candidates. It's very simple. I sit down and I say to them, have these guys told you why I've come down, what we're going to talk about? And they're like, yeah, kind of. They've sort of said you're going to come down and have a chat with me. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Just to let you know, the interview process is over. This is not part of the interview process. This is an opportunity for me to have a conversation with you, to answer any questions you may have. When we bring on managerial roles, I like to meet with the candidates just so I can meet you, so you can meet me. You can ask any questions you may have about the business, about myself, about how we operate, about the future, and we can just have a chat and just nothing more than that. And to be honest, I just like to drink coffee and talk. So that's what this session's about, and that is literally word for word what I say to them. And then we have a conversation. I will generally have their application form with me, or I will have their application form with me. It's always folded in half, so I'm not looking at it. It's on the table with a pen in case I need it for anything. I've browsed through them. I don't go through them in detail. I'm very honest with the candidates. I'll say, look, I've had a read through. I've not gone through it in depth. I've kind of cherry picked the bits that I find most interesting, and looked at a few bits more, and the other guys would have looked at it in depth, but that's not what I'm here for. And I'll just say, hey, have you got any questions for me first and foremost? Anything you didn't ask, anything you'd like to ask, anything you're curious about? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And then we'll just go into a conversation, and I'll ask, what was it that interests you in the role? What is it that interests you about our business? And it literally is a conversational flow from that point. There is no other agenda other than that, to have a conversation with people. And it doesn't matter. I've always found this since I started doing it. It doesn't matter whether the candidate is good, okay, poor, or outstanding. Those conversations are always really enjoyable, because people are more relaxed, I tend to find, because it's no longer the interview process. And if they start reciting keywords or bits that I think they're kind of trying to almost win keyword points from the interview, I'll say, hey, you're not in the interview anymore. Seriously, you don't need to win points from me. It's absolutely fine. I just want to have a conversation. And we do that, and I get to know people, and I really like that. And then after that's happened, I'll see if they've got any other questions, and then they'll leave. And then I get together with, in this instance, with Lauren and Lisa, but whoever's running the interviews, I get together with them, and we have a debrief, and we talk about what they thought of the candidates from their perspective, and I put my points forward of what I thought of them, and it's so different. It's so contrasting, and it's really interesting because I get real different experiences and different answers and a different person almost to what they get. And I like to think that's because, or I know it is, because when they're in the interview, they're under quite a bit of pressure, and you're really kind of thinking about performing, and because you're constantly thinking, I know because I've done this process a lot, both sides of the table. You're thinking about all the bits you need to get across, the keywords you need to get across. You're selling yourself constantly. You're really pushing all of that out there, and you're trying to impress these people. So sometimes your personality doesn't shine because you're concentrating so much on this, and you're trying to keep yourself. You're trying to be a person that you want them to see. So sometimes your natural personality may not shine through. And when I get to them, I make it very clear it's not part of the interview process, and it's not, and it's really an opportunity. And very quickly, I like to think that I get into a conversational mode with them, and they forget they're even there for a job. They're just there to have a chat about what interests them. And that's how we get through the process. And therefore I get a very different responses, and I get a very different person to who the interviewers see. And it makes it really contrasting. I put my points forward, but whoever's running the interviews, they make the decision. Like I say, I obviously put in my recommendations, but I don't make the choice. So yeah, I really love it. I think it's great. It means I get to spend 2 days drinking tea and coffee and chatting with people. And I get some really good information from it. I get to meet some fantastic people, lots of different personalities, lots of different walks of life, lots of different ideas and concepts and conversations happen, and no two are ever the same. And I think that's a really nice way to do interviews. I think it's a really positive way to finish them as well. So yeah, that's how we did it. Just going to read some comments. There's no delay tonight. I've got Zoom. Well, I don't have got Zoom working. It just for some reason, when I tried to work it last week, Zoom would not go live on Facebook because my page, it would only go live on my personal profile, which I don't really use anymore. So that's why I went Facebook Live. And Facebook Live, for some reason, has got a delay. I don't know why. It says it's got a delay because of unstable broadband, but I've got bloody 80 meg download and 50 meg upload. So it's hardly like I've got slow broadband. But yeah, back on Zoom tonight is working. So was you talking more? Rachel, how dare you? Was I talking more? No, I ask a question, I shut up. Like, that's my way. Is anyone join Joel? I have to hold the whole conversation. All right, I might have spoken a lot. Right, let's have a quick look. Chris, Joel, mate. I did that outside a building, waiting for an appointment, and got to go get tested. I did get tested, but I know for a fact I haven't got anything, as I have had a cold and a cough that every time this year. Oh, so I think you're talking about my coughing. I'm not worried. I'll be honest. I'm not overly panicked about coronavirus. I think in the first instance, I wouldn't say I was quite worried. I was concerned for my parents. I was concerned for my friends. I was concerned for my family. I was concerned for people I know. You guys, for example. I was concerned for people with poor health. My dad, for example, who's elderly, has had heart attacks and stuff like that. So I was concerned for people like that. Concerned for my kids. Those sorts of things. And I think over time I've got a little bit more relaxed, and now. I think relax is probably the wrong word, but I've got more. I've kind of built a resilience to it to a degree, because now I've known people who have got it. A long time it took to know people who have got it. So I've been able to speak to people who've had it directly, and through a couple of other people that have had it, who know other people. But not masses. I think I've probably literally 5 people I think I know have had it, that I could pick up my phone and call 2 of them. And the other 3, I'd have to ring somebody else to ring them, and just sort of going through that and seeing it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm 37 and a half. I'm pretty fit and healthy to a degree. I'm a little bit heavier than I'd like to be, a little bit out of shape than I'd like to be, but I'm not unfit. I mean, the other day I jumped on a treadmill, first time in 6 days, and I ran 7 miles without any problems. So, I'm relatively fit and healthy. So are my kids, so's my wife. So I'm not overly panicked. I've got the business, worked really hard to get the business to a point where it can sustain itself over this smashed period of poor business. So I've kind of got to a point where I'm like, do you know what? If I get COVID, I'm just going to stay away from everybody. I'm going to keep in my own little shell. I will stay in the spare room. If Emma and the kids don't have it, I will stay completely in the spare room and just isolate myself, my computer. You'll see me doing lives all the bloody time. And I'll stay out of the way until I get over it. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be okay. And because I'm young enough and healthy enough, I should be able to get through it, hopefully. And that's kind of the approach I'm taking. I'm just trying to keep everyone else around me kind of safe, in the sense of if I did pick it up, that they're not at risk, and just trying to do as much as we possibly can as an individual around that. So yeah, it's tricky. I mean, my sister's supposed to be coming up for my mum's coming up for Christmas, my stepdad, so they'll be with us. They're coming from a tier 2. They'll be with us over the couple of days over the break period where we can have people around. My sister was supposed to be coming up for New Year's Eve with her son and her husband. That's obviously not going to happen by the looks of things, because I don't see the restrictions changing, and it's kind of one of those things we've been talking about. It's, can I come? Can't we come? What do you think? I'm like, do you know what? I think it's safe. Personally, I think it's safe, but it goes against the rules, and I just don't feel I can do that. I really don't feel I can go against the rules. I don't even agree with some of them, or certainly not the way the vast majority have been put out there, but they are the rules. Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing as kind of, it's a little bit different, but it's looking at going, do you know what? I'm quite happy to drive on the motorway at 80 miles an hour because I feel safe and secure that I can drive at 80 miles an hour and that's safe. But I can't rely on all the other people around me being safe at 80 miles an hour. An 80 mile an hour crash with 2 cars is a 20 mile an hour increase, if you think about it. Yeah, that's I don't think that's going to happen, which is a real shame, because I really want to see my sister, and obviously I want to see my nephew and my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law, who actually works for the BBC, I should point out, who is a oh Christ, I think he's a senior production assistant, senior researcher, or junior producer. I'd have to double check. He does organize a lot of shows and a lot of logistics. Very smart guy. So yeah, I'll ask him when I next see him. But anyway, right, let me have a quick look. Let's have a quick look at these. Laurie, late to the party. Laurie, how dare you? There was Joe. Keely, what the hell? I was 4 minutes late because I stood in puppy shit. I haven't got the puppy out. I don't know if anyone wants me to go get the puppy. I can go get the puppy. It's such an interesting join, Joel. I can't believe that in 10 years time, or in 10 years time, we're going to start running for PM. And yeah, we're going to find in 14 years when I become PM, you're going to look back over these join Giles and be like, yeah, should I go get the puppy? So right, let's have a quick look. Diane, my friend had it, who's my age, and she's very poorly. It makes me worry a bit more than I did. Diane, apologies, Diane. I don't actually know how old you are. I'm going to have a quick look at your account and see if I can see from your photo. Okay, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Okay. Musical statues, I win. Like, oh my God. Right. I'm going to, I was tempted to kind of finish it there, but I thought, no, I'm in the middle of a flow. I was just saying, I was tempted to finish it there. I was like, no, I was in the middle of a flow. Fuck it, I'm going back. So if you caught me right at the very beginning, you'd have heard me say that my hot tub is broken. First world problems, I understand it. So basically, one of the pumps on the hot tub, there's 3 pumps on the hot tub. When one of them fires up, it kills the power. It kills the power to our kitchen, which is where the fuse is for the hot tub, takes it all the way back. There's also where our router's plugged in. So it just randomly, Diane, as I jumped onto your profile and it was loading the pictures on your profile so I could try and ascertain how old you are. I know it sounds a little bit stalkerish, but it was all about, because you were saying you were worried because your friend has got COVID. So I was curious about what age you are, so I could see that. As I did that, suddenly my internet stopped. I was like, oh, have I just killed my internet? And then I saw that all the lights had gone off in the kitchen, the internet had gone down, and that was it, dead. So back in the room, I'm going to do a couple of minutes to finish off. I'm going to obviously have to cut this into the other video to post up onto YouTube. I was literally just checking because Diane had said, I can't even see the previous comments on the previous video, so I'm going to have to sort of flick through those as best I can. Diana said she was quite concerned because one of her friends had got COVID and therefore, and they'd had it quite bad, and that got her quite concerned. So I was curious about how old she was, because age obviously makes a huge difference to COVID and to the reactions and stuff. My assumption is most people, and I think, you guys be able to tell me, when the vaccine comes along, are you going to take the vaccine? Is there anybody here that will not take the vaccine? I'm curious as to why. I mean, obviously each their own decision. I think by the time certainly my age bracket gets the vaccine, it won't be the Pfizer vaccine we're seeing. I think we'll be in the Oxford vaccine by then, which has a range of chances of success. But yeah, so that's that's that really. I'm just going to see, because there's a couple of comments. I'm just going to see if I can pick up the comments on the last video. So there's a couple that I was just looking at as it died on me. Yeah, I don't know if anybody saw that the Queen had a Zoom call the other day, and I was going to say she died, and that cut out on her as well. Just have a quick look at the comments. I need to put them into time order, real-time comments. Newest, sorry. Oh my God, I'm just seeing all the comments that you guys left when I cut out. I cut out, and you were like, should we just chat amongst ourselves? Chris, he's checking you out really well. Oh my God. Someone call the police. Someone stole Joel. He's probably still talking away. He's probably still talking away, not realized. You guys are buggers. It stopped working. He's paused. He's gone to the toilet. Sharing competition. Wow, Joel can be quiet. Musical statues. I did see that one. Quietest I've ever seen him. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, you guys are amazing. Absolute legends, every single one of you. I love it. Oh, I think you guys are brilliant. You guys are amazing. There's some brilliant comments in there. I should do that more often. I should just pretend. I should start pretending that I've frozen just so I can see the comments. Oh, Alison's just said that she has allergies and was told to wait for the Oxford vaccine. Yeah, I saw that a couple of NHS workers have had they've got allergies, had the vaccine and suffered really badly. Laura, absolutely, Laura. I will go and get Django right now. I'll go get him out. I'll bring him in so you can see him. Diane's saying she's 56 and will have the vaccine for sure now. Yeah, I was chatting to my dad the other day, and my dad's 70. Let me get this right. 47. My dad's 73. He's just turned 73. He's had a heart attack previously. I mean, he's not in bad health now, but obviously he needs to be careful. He's obviously in the high risk categories. I was chatting to him and I said, are you gonna have the vaccine, Dad? He's like, absolutely, of course I will. Why wouldn't I? I'd be mad not to. And he's one of those people that's quite you know, is wary of certain things. It doesn't like doing internet banking and stuff like that, which I can understand. But you know, so yeah, he was like, absolutely, I'm going to do it. And you know, I've met lots of people of that age that yeah, absolutely. So I must admit, I was dying, absolutely dying at some of the memes and comments that were coming out when they first put the vaccine out. I was seeing memes of Bill Gates now controls Margaret, aged 93. Like, it's like, what's Bill Gates going to do with Margaret, aged 93? I was just like, some of those happening increases in the idea, the conspiracy. I mean, some of the conspiracy theories are probably a little more potentially could be true, or at least believable. But the idea that you have a vaccine, then Bill Gates can control you, is got to be one of the craziest. I'm going to bloody eat my words in a couple of years. You wait. It's got to be one of the craziest things I've heard. So yeah, it's a difficult one. And I'm one of those people. I don't like putting things into my body that I don't have to. You know, I'm not a big fan of taking like paracetamol, ibuprofen. I do if I need to, but I'm like, the more I can use my natural resilience and my natural immune system, I will. And it's about keeping that strong as opposed to taking lots of things to keep your body going. Anyway, look, I've talked enough. Let me go get Django, so you can see the puppy, because everybody loves that. And then I will bring the puppy back, and then you can have a look at the puppy, and then I will head out for the evening. So bear me 2 seconds. Let's go find him. Okay, put it down there. Move my beanbag out of the way so you can see him when he comes down. Good boy. Good boy. Come and say hello. Come here. Oh, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? There he is. So there's our hello. Hello. Yes, hello. Look. There they are. They want to all see you. They're all looking at you. Oh, look at that big yawn. I don't know why I suddenly changed my voice to puppy voice, to my puppy voice. Hello. Hello. Ah, that's my ear you're biting. Gently, gently. Hey. So here's Django, if you've not met him. He will be 10 weeks old tomorrow, won't you, dude? 10 weeks old tomorrow. Yes, you will. Yes, yes, yes. So he's my little baby. He's my new little baby. And he's just licking away at my ears. He's lovely, but he eats everything. He's destroying everything. Slippers, shoes, anything he gets his hands on. Our Christmas tree, aren't you? But he's absolutely gorgeous. We love him to bits. So yeah. So that's our little puppy. I was assuming you guys can hear me. Sorry, I've got it over here. I just realised, can you guys even hear me? Oh, don't need that. No, don't need that. So yeah, there he is. But yes, he will start making visits to the prison. You had your jabs. You had your jabs. Oh, look at that yawn. You had your jabs done yesterday. His second lot of jabs, so he's allowed to go out and meet other dogs. Go on and go play. And yeah, he'll be starting to make visits to the jail very shortly. Anyway, I'm going to call it there because that's obviously take 2. I'm going to be back next year. Get off the thing. Django, let go. I'm going to be back next week. It's going to be Christmas Eve. I'm going to do it next week. We're going to be on Joy and Joel 31. It's going to be Christmas Eve. My parents are going to be in here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be so drunk by the time I do Join Joel next week. I'm just going to give you a heads up. I know it's Christmas Eve, so probably very few of you will tune in. I don't know if it's going to be a good one or not. I'm going to be so drunk. It's going to be unbelievable because my mum's here. My mum can drink. So yeah, so I'll do that next week. I may even, if you want, if you really want something a little bit special, I will stop eating the cable. Django, stop it. I will have my mum here, so I will bring my mum in to join Joel, and you can ask us some questions if you like. On as Keely's just put a Christmas special from Joel. Look at him! Look at him! I want my fingers back. So yeah, so we can do that next week. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you very much, guys, and I will see you next week on Christmas Eve. Got to figure out how to turn it off. Next week on Christmas Eve. Take care.